Tom Price is the Health and Human Services Secretary under Trump. He was approved even though he is insanely corrupt and openly corrupt. So to give you a little more information on that, this guy traded about $300,000 worth of stock in health companies, and then he would propose bills to help the companies and try to make himself and his buddies rich. And that's apart from the standard corruption of, he takes money from the health insurance companies when he's running his campaigns. He also, invested in them and then proposed bills to help them so he can make himself rich and them rich. So it's like another level of corruption to the point where it may have even violated some laws, even though our laws are super lax when it comes to money in politics. So he's been pushing Trumpcare on TV, or whatever you want to call it. Trumpcare, I've heard it called Ryan Care. It's just the GOP Obamacare replacement bill. But in the process of pushing the bill, he can't stop lying.
Go to the affordability aspect a little bit. First of all, can you say for certain that once this bill is passed, nobody will be worse off financially when it comes to paying for health care?
Well, I'll tell you right now, there are a lot of people that are worse off right now when they're paying for health care, and they aren't getting the care that they need. Again, premiums are up and deductibles are up. If you're an individual out there making $50,000, $60,000 and your deductible is $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, you may have that insurance card, but you don't have coverage. And I hear from my former colleagues all the time about patients who come into their office and they recommend something for them and they're not able to get it because the deductible is so high.
But I notice you ducked the aspect of whether you can guarantee that nobody will be worse off financially.
I firmly believe that nobody will be worse off financially in the process that we're going through, understanding that they'll have choices that they can select the kind of coverage that they want for themselves and for their family, not that government forces them to buy.
So that's just factually wrong. Health policy experts and economists crunched the numbers, and they found that the Republican repeal bill would raise costs for the average insurance enrollee by $1,542 per year in 2017 alone, over $1,500 increase in 2017 alone, and by $2,409 in 2020. So I don't think anybody's going to pay more. That's just not true. And furthermore, there's a lot of other misleading garbage in there. So he says, well, under Obamacare, it's worse off now. Look, I'm no fan of Obamacare. Everybody knows that. I'm for a Medicare for all system. I'm for, at the very least, and I would still be super upset, and still the end goal would be single payer even if we got here. But the number two position should be public option. We're all the way at the individual mandate system, which is originally a right-wing idea. So I'm no defender of this, but he's just saying things that are untrue. So he said, they're worse off now. People are worse off now. Actually, Obamacare slowed the rise in premiums and in the cost of healthcare. So it's misleading to say, well, premiums are up, deductibles are up. Yeah, because they're up every single year. And if you look at the chart, it's rising dramatically, and then Obamacare slowed the rise of it. So it's still, by the way, that's still not an excuse to say, well, let's not do anything. Let's let it keep rising, even though it's rising less than it did before. But it's certainly misleading to simply frame it as a cause and effect where it's like Obamacare made it rise. That's the implication. Obamacare is the heart of the problem. You get rid of Obamacare, everything's fine. No, actually, you get rid of Obamacare, everything's worse. And then I love how, this is just classic Republican sleaziness. He goes, you got deductibles that are like $10,000 and people can't afford the care. Okay, so wait a second. Is that a real issue? You bet your sweet ass cheeks it's a real issue. But guess what? The bill they're proposing doesn't address that in any way. It's like, oh yeah, these deductibles, man, huge problem. $10,000 deductibles, people can't afford the care. And where in your bill is there a cap on deductibles where it's like $1,000 or $2,000? There is no cap. He talks about a problem that the bill does not address. And by the way, the only way to really address these problems, because deductibles are bullshit, is single payer. People in the U.S., when they hear stories of how healthcare works in other countries, they don't believe it. No, really? So there's the classic example of, in the UK, you go and you give birth, you can net make money. Wait, what? So what happens is, you go in, you give birth. Obviously, you don't pay anything out of pocket because it's covered by your tax dollars. But then when you go to leave, in some, I don't know if it's all the hospitals or some of the hospitals, they go, oh, would you like money for transportation on the way home? You net make money if you go have a baby. Here in the U.S., oh, God forbid. No, everything costs money here. Everything. Because we don't have a good insurance system set up. We have private health insurance companies who price gouge the fuck out of you and have unnecessary profit margins for yachts for their CEOs. Only 80% of the money goes to care, which might sound good, but Medicare, for example, 94% of the money goes to actual care. So a much smaller percentage goes to overhead and all the other things. But this is the system that these guys love. They love a private system, and they pretend like they're going to address the problems, and they're not. By the way, they still don't have an answer for, hey, are people going to lose their health insurance? Because in reality, the answer is, fuck yeah, people are going to lose their health insurance. Millions of people are going to lose their health insurance. But they can't come out and say it, so they just tap dance. Oh, no, I don't think so. Or maybe, but it's their choice. Paul Ryan was asked this question the other day. He goes, it's up to the people. I don't know, because it's up to the people. The fuck does that mean? It means, yeah, probably millions of people are going to lose their health insurance. So I'm just going to blame them and say personal responsibility, individual problem. So, no, but see, that's the whole thing. If you're going to address the problem, you have to address the problem. You can't say we're going to address it, and if it doesn't work, fuck you. Wait, what? No, there would be a problem with your policy. And again, just misleading across the board. Complaining about deductible costs when they don't address deductible costs. Saying, Obamacare's, the rise in premiums, terrible. When, again, it slowed the rise, and he's just lying. No, people aren't going to pay more. Well, again, the studies show $1,542 in 2017, and then in 2020, $2,409. So what they're saying is just utter bullshit.